makes her tick.
We're poolside at China Machado's gallery, and she's done the mural here, which is incredible. I heard she did it in 3 days, and it's really exquisite. And she is showing Michael Volbrecht's work in one gallery, and photographer Hero's work, who's standing here, in the other gallery. And Hero has been a fashion photographer for Vogue for, what, 40 years?
No,
30 years?
Harper's Bazaar first.
Harper's Bazaar and then Vogue. But you've been doing it for like quite a few years.
It's all right to say, because I'm older enough and working longer than everyone. And I was just recounting with Hero that when he was studying how to do all of this magnificent upstairs is so beautiful. Do you know that I think the whole room has been sold? Not one photograph, but someone came and bought the whole room, but that's a little aside. But Hero asked me, he was learning the dark room, and he was working with Avedon at that time, being Avedon's support system, and he said, well, would you consider coming in on Saturday morning? I would love to take a photograph of you, Carmen. And I have the privilege of being, I think, the first model that Hero ever wanted to photograph.
I can see it's
true, absolutely true.
Bye.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Was that when you were working for Vanity Fair lingerie?
Yes. Yes, that's when Dick brought Vanity Fair from black and white into color. I mean, just magnificently. And Hero is responsible for the quality of the color. I mean, he just knows everything inside and out and back and forward.
I see. Well, I guess that's
Gina must have modeled for Hero too. When did you model for Hero?
No, I never modeled for Hero, but Hero, when I was
Oh, yes, you did. 1959. That's where
yes,
we
you're
met.
right. I'm sorry, I forgot. You're right. You're right. I know.
No, that's where we met.
Most of the time, when I was fashion and beauty director of Harper's Bazaar for 11 years, Hero and I worked together a lot. And then for years, he did a lot. But also, we're very close friends. He's a Jap and I'm a Chink.
And I'm a
Thank you.
And Hero had, when you photographed Carmen, did that run anywhere, or was that a test shot?
This was a test shot. I was just beginning. Yes.
You still have the photo?
It's possibly.
And you know, Hero did a cover of my daughter for Harper's Bazaar.
Laura.
yeah.
Yes,
I remember.
absolutely.
That was 1970, wasn't it?
Shall we talk about, you know, the nice history between all of us? Tina and I are friends for many years, standing.
When I came in 1958, the first time I came here, I met Carmen, and she gave a Thanksgiving dinner. I'd never had a Thanksgiving dinner in my life, and that's when we became friends. So it goes back, way back. Our daughters and all kinds of things.
Our children.
So it's a long
Where are
time.
these daughters?
I don't know.
I wonder if the young models today, I only wish them the longevity and the love that, you know, we all have over the years, and the success in the passion of their life, because Gina's always been a passionate designer, whatever she does. Hero too, And in my way, we all love what we do. And I just hope for all these youngsters that they are doing whatever it is, fashion editing or photography or being a model, with love and passion, because then they'll find their way in life.
Yes, and Carmen is off to do some modeling in France.
A Hardy Amy show in London, the Queen's designer, and then I'm going off to Mary Russell's daughter's wedding in Paris on
Great,
Saturday.
great. I remember
Kitty
you were
Russell,
friends.
yeah.
And what's this movie you're doing?
I did Sun Chaser. Michael Cimino was the director, a Warner Brothers movie. I played the grandmother finally, being 64 years old. I think it's a
That's very good.
I don't have to play it. I'm a grandmother too.
Yeah, but you're so much younger. That's fine. You
Please.
started a
It's
lot
not true at all. At all. Anyway, I think that the most important thing is that we're very happy here at the galleries because we're showing two fantastic artists, and Michael in his incredible eclectic way, and Hero for the first time showing his favorite pictures of mine, The Fighting Birds.
Oh, really? The Fighting Birds? We have to go up and get those.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Come and sit. Come and
But
sit.
let's do the...
You have anything else to do?
No.
Then Christ.
All right, fine.
Jesus Christ.
This is the former designer and current painter, Michael Volbrecht, who's now living for 7 years in Florida and just comes up every so often to do gallery showings of his work. And he's here in Watermill at China Machado's gallery, is it?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Country Bazaar, yes.
Yeah.
China Machado has been a dear friend of mine for maybe 20 some odd years, and like many designers, covet her friendship and also revere her beauty, her stamina, and her brilliance, not just as a model, but as an entrepreneur and as a businesswoman. So I'm pleased to be back up north and in Watermill and in her establishment.
And you're doing like a co-exhibit with Hero, right?
Yes, with a brilliant master of photography, Hero. So I'm thrilled by the association with this extraordinary gentleman.
Yeah, that's right. And you're extraordinary too.
Well, thank you very much.
But tell us about this rooster.
Well, it's big. that's and it's colorful, and it's a portrait of a rooster that is called a silver Dutch, and it's a Dutch rooster. I thought it was Japanese when I saw a tiny little photograph of it years ago in an English magazine called English Life, and I saved it, and then I've used this image several times, but never this large.
Let's look at the Liz Taylor
You got it.
in the other room. We're in front of Michael's collage of Elizabeth Taylor and some. Oh, I see.
Always
And-
give credit where
okay,
credit is
yeah,
due.
and that was Cleopatra, right?
This was a sitting that was done in 1961, I believe, that Bert Stern did of Elizabeth Taylor on the set of Cleopatra, and it was, I think, with not one of the wigs from Cleopatra, but I think Alexandra had a wig that she was wearing for. It's one of my favorite photographs, and I put it with all other sort of animals and creatures.
Yeah,
She being probably the most beautiful of all creatures.
Yeah, almost like the peacock, the head of a peacock.
And the bluebird on her shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I think it's an amazing story, Elizabeth Taylor, as we all know, as we reach the millennium, probably the most beautiful woman of the 20th century. And of all her peers and contemporaries, she is still alive, which is amazing, because most of them have died of some kind of abuse or
Suicide.
or whatever it is. But Elizabeth Taylor is quite remarkable, and I think we should all honor her.
Yes.
And I was very privileged to have worked with Elizabeth for several years, and it is, I think, a highlight of my life to be able to say that I did business with Elizabeth Taylor.
She wore your clothes. I
More than
remember.
that, I just got to be in her presence.
Yeah.
And I was, as a child, a great fan of Elizabeth Taylor's, and then to have worked with her and to have dealt with her and to be hopefully her friend was an honor.
Yeah. Well, have you talked with her since her hip surgery?
I was just spoke to Elizabeth about doing a dress for Maureen Sullivan. No, Sullivan.
O'Hara?
No, Maureen Stapleton's 70th birthday. So she had just gone in the hospital, so we got a dress for her together.
Yeah, they were in that play together on
They were in
Broadway.
Little Foxes.
That's right.
That's when I first met Elizabeth, when she was Mrs. Warner, and she was doing Little Foxes on Broadway.
Yes. That's I remember that too. It didn't seem like yesterday.
That was like...
It seemed like yesterday.
Well, it does seem like yesterday that it was at the Martin Beck Theater, and you watched all these people milling around. And if you're ever with Elizabeth Taylor, it's quite amazing to see the people that just to hang on. And I remember when I first met Elizabeth, I was escorting her to something in Roseland, and we were seated at dinner, and by the time the evening ended, we were pushed towards the table simply by the people that were rotated around just to look at her and to gawk at her.
Yeah.
It's an amazing creature that she has survived what she's survived.
Yeah, she said she's seen more kitchens and back elevators.
Very much so.
Yes.
Very much so.
Yeah. Now this Varga girl, what about this?
I think it's just self-explanatory that, again, collage is a wonderful media that you can use the best. And I picked the best. This is a great Japanese print, Vargas, who was very popular in the 30s and maybe and the 40s in Esquire. And this is a 2-3 cut piece for a piece of collage.
Yes, the fish and the hawk,
And just
or
the Vargas
eagle.
girl, and then the rest is just a complete print.
Yeah, very interesting. Thanks.
I always
How
steal.
much are
How much are they? I think $1,000. They're cheap at that, aren't they? To get a Vargas girl for $1,000, very cheap. It's a pleasure to see you again. My God, I've not seen you in quite a number of years.
Yeah.
You look very
Down
well.
in Florida. Thank
Yes,
you.
very much so. Thank you.
Thank you. We're at the Parish Museum Gala, and we found Sylvia Miles here. She lives in the city, and she comes out occasionally into
No,
the Hamptons.
often, not occasionally.
Often, okay.
Quite often.
You remember Sylvia from Midnight Cowboy, which won an Academy Award, and Sylvia won 2 Academy Awards herself. And she's just kind of Sony just is going to distribute a film.
Sony Classics picked up my new film, which is called Denise Calls Up, which won one of the prizes in the Camera d'Or at Cannes.
Okay. And so how are you enjoying the Hamptons?
Very much. It's very hot tonight, but I'm here for the Parish Museum yearly gala. It's very exciting. The show is called Portraits, and there are some staggering portraits. Not mine, but maybe one year mine will be in it.
I saw a Warhol there.
There were quite a few Warhols, right? I think the people donated them to the show.
Yeah. You're in one of Warhol's.
Well, I starred in Heat. That was one of Warhol's films directed by Paul Morrissey.
Yes.
Yes, it was a very successful one. It was in the New York Film Festival, the Venice Film Festival, and Cannes.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, it won a prize at Cannes in the Kansan Kansan Realisteur, which is the director's fortnight. That was the new one I did. Denise Calls Up was in the Samantha Critique, the Critics Week.
Yeah. And Sylvia made People magazine 2 weeks in a row, wasn't it? Yeah, a couple of years ago.
Well, I like to think of my success as being a bit more impressive than People magazine. Only 47 films, nominated Actress of the Year in Great Britain.
And what about your Broadway, off-Broadway?
Oh, I do a lot of that. Yes, I just did a wonderful play with Kim Hunter called Alphabet of Flowers, which I think we're going to maybe do something with in the fall. When I come back, I'm going to France to make a film. For August, when I come back, we'll hopefully, I'm praying that Denise Calls Up will be in the New York Film Festival. I haven't heard yet, but I'm hoping.
Yeah, well, we'll look forward to seeing you then in September, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Bettina.
All right, thank you.
Maybe
This is Lieutenant Governor Betsy McCaughey, and we're at David Koch's house, who is hosting a fundraiser for Betsy, and she'll talk about what she's planning to do in New York State.
It's nice to be with you today.
Thank you. Nice to be with you.
George Pataki and I are committed to bringing jobs home to New Yorkers. When we took office on January 1st, we found that New York State had a $5 billion deficit and an even more serious problem: New York's failure to provide real opportunity for its citizens. New York ranks 47th out of the 50 states in job growth, 47th, near rock bottom. George Pataki and I are working hard to lower taxes and control state spending so that we can attract the kinds of investments, the kinds of businesses to New York State that will mean more job security and more job opportunities for men and women all across this state. We want New York to be a land of opportunity again. And for me, this is a very personal commitment because New York is where my family's dream came true. My dad was a maintenance man in a factory, and his dream was that I would be able to go to college. No one in his family had ever done that. And in 1966, I won a scholarship to college right here in New York State. And the day my dad put that faster decal on the back of his old blue Dodge Dart and drove me to Poughkeepsie, New York, was the biggest day of his life. That's opportunity, and that's what we want for every man and woman and child in New York State, a chance to work hard and make your own dreams come true.
Well, your dad must be proud of you, and everybody else too.
How do you think Showhead would be? Great. Okay, that's what I've done now.
Okay, yeah.
As a spokesperson for the Pataki administration on this subject, I'm sure today she'll be commenting about it. Thank you. We're kindred spirits in philosophically. I think she's immensely capable, immensely.
That Betsy will become governor one day?
Well, I hope so. First, I hope that George Pataki stays in office for many terms, and then when he retires or moves on to bigger things, perhaps the Senate, then Betsy can take his place, because she's extraordinary in her knowledge and understanding of the issues, and particularly in medical care. I'm immensely impressed with that. That's the kind of hands-on, detailed knowledge I think governors should have, and she's got it in spades.
Yeah, it'd be great if they could do something. She had interesting figures that she was talking about there. I noticed that her speech was very similar to when I heard Newt Gingrich at the Abney in New York. I mean, it was really a good speech, and his was too. It was really very interesting that they were talking about the same issues, and especially welfare.
Well, I think that public has realized, and there's a general agreement amongst all parties that governments, state governments have grown too big, as well as the federal government, and it's time to cut back. When businesses suffer losses and grow too much proportional to their revenue, then they go bankrupt. Well, governments don't. I think it's time that state government of New York was reduced. It grew just relentlessly during the Cuomo years, and Betsy and Pataki, I think, are doing a marvelous job of seeing where cuts can be made with minimum disruption to people's lives, and
just spending the money better.
Yeah, exactly. If she's most certainly have earned the right to be the next governor, in my opinion.
Yeah, that would be fabulous. Yes. Thank you for having this wonderful little luncheon. It was really delightful.
Well, I'm delighted with how successful it was. We had over 60 people either send checks or attend, and I think it was a marvelously successful fundraiser for us, first she's ever had out here, and hope this is she can do this again at other people's homes and be equally successful.
Yeah. Is this the first political fundraiser that you've been involved in here, in a sense of hosting
the
one?
first one here in the in Southampton. Next weekend, I'm host to Senator Bob Dole. He's flying up from Washington, guest to my house for 2-hour cocktail fundraiser Saturday night, and then following that there'll be a dinner at Henry Kravis's home, who's my neighbor, and I'm sure we'll have a big turnout for that as well.
How's it going with your New York apartment on Fifth Avenue?
Well, we're still interviewing decorators or architects, and I want to find someone really good to do the architectural work and someone else to do the design work. And so over the next several weeks, I hope to have a firm chosen to do the architecture and another one to do the decoration. And then we'll begin the project in earnest. It'll be about a year before it's all ready.
Really, before you'll be able to move in?
Right, yeah.
I heard David Allen just mentioning to you about doing a before and after, but you're not going to do it because you wanted to honor Mrs. Onassis' lifestyle before the...
I'm not allowing the press to come in and photograph the apartment, and she lived quietly and confidentially, and I respect those wishes of her and her family, and so I'll allow the apartment to be photographed after it's finished, but not before.
Yeah, that's nice of you.
Yeah,
all right,
you're
thanks.
welcome.
We're with Phoebe Legere. This is New York Gossip in the Hamptons, and Phoebe Legere is playing at Bobby Van's. How often?
I'm here every Saturday night till the end of the summer.
And she's just cut a CD, which is already as in stores as is the video.
The video will be going on VH1 this week, being added into heavy rotation, and the record is in the record stores. My first album, and I'm at Ed's Music Inn on Friday nights with my rock band for those who prefer the loud, sexy sound of rock and roll. But I continue to do Bobby Van's because of my attachment to the piano.
Yeah, well, I've seen you sort of stand on the piano and bring your...
Well, I play it in all different ways. I love to go inside of it, and it's a very interesting instrument derived from, of course, the lyre. Derived from the harp, yeah.
Are you going to do some of that for us and give us a sample of the... Let me get out of the way so you get full camera view.
Distance mover, up and down, smile.
fabulous little yacht you have there.
Yeah.
And it's initials, your initials, right? Microchroma?
Yeah, that's Microchroma.
That's right.
You know, everybody has the name Lola or Isabella or something like that. And I said, this is very Microchroma. And very Microchroma, that means this is typical my style. It's elegant, it's conservative, it's not too big, and we're producing the bags, and we have our special colors, and I designed the boat. It's a brand new Sunseeker boat. It's a Carmark 51. It's a very good power boat.
Yes. Well, you look like you're going to enjoy your life on it, but you enjoy your life anyway. You have a very
I tell you,
joie de vivre.
I'm enjoying my life in the American paradise of Long Island, especially Sag Harbor, because this area is a natural resort I never saw in my life. Think about that.
Yes. Do you have a house in Sag Harbor?
Yes.
You do?
Peconic Bay, this direction there.
Right. Yeah. Well, your whole family is here celebrating tonight, aren't they?
My wife, my daughter, son-in-law, and the whole company is here.
And you brought the Prince Leopold and...
Yes, this is a very good friend of mine. It's the Royal Highness Prince Leopold of Bavaria.
And when Mercedes Rule was here, how did that connection come up?
My PR people, you know. And I used to be an actor. So when some actresses or actor around, so it's a Bayview Theatre also. I remember my time when I was a student, I was sitting in Rome, I was sitting in Hollywood, and I know the whole business, you know. But now I have another stage. I have a lot of another stage. It's my own stage. When I see some bags on the airport, that's my stage now.
That's right. And what is this pin you're wearing? It's a bird. It's beautiful. A bird of paradise?
No, these are the wing of the Royal Air Force. And there's an MCM. And everybody who is good in my company, and he's working 7 years, and he's doing more than he has to do, gets a wing.
Well, that's very nice of you to do that. Now, what are the stones in it?
Pardon?
What are the stones? Are they diamonds?
Diamonds, yeah, real diamonds.
Yeah, beautiful.
It's all real quality. It's no glass.
That's right. Thank you. Hi, this is Bettina Sabrone aboard the MC, and right to left we are Carmen, Mary Russell.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
Roberta
Rojas.
Bianca Strauss. Now.
Hello, Bettina. We love you.
Yes, love you too. And I understand that Carmen was just at your daughter's wedding in Paris, was it?
Yes, we were in Paris for a wedding. It was wonderful.
It was in a chateau outside the north of Paris, and she married
She married Arnaud, Baron Arnaud de Planta in Paris this month.
It was just beautiful.
Yes.
And of course, it was the most fashionable, the most exquisitely scented and beautiful wedding I think I have seen since Prince Grace's wedding, which was a state affair. But this was for a private citizen.
It was very beautiful.
Beautiful wedding.
Do you live in Paris?
Yes, I live in Paris, New York, and Miami.
But you worked
very
in Paris
lucky.
so many years doing the New York Times. Were you not the reporter?
And Roberto is the designer for MCM, isn't that right?
I do the Florence Cromer fashions, the FCF line for MCM, Florence Cromer fashions, which Carmen is wearing one of the pieces.
Bianca has been a model and right now retired because her husband won't let her work. Is that? That's right. Now, where were you modeling when you did?
Most of my modeling was in Europe. That's where I met my husband. He was working for MCM. He was the very first employee at MCM.
You should do a makeup line for MCM, and when they're ready to do that, you would be such a great representative, you know, associated with them.
We did everything from the beginning. It was only 2 people there. My husband ran me crazy for nights and nights and nights with MCM. No one never dreamed it would turn into this.
It's magnificent.
It's a success story, a dream come true.
That's nice. And will you be writing about it in Elle magazine?
Yes, I worked for Elle and Vogue, Mirabelle. I've worked for most of the fashion magazines in Europe and in New York.
And in Mary's spare time, she's going to help me write my autobiography.
Oh, I can't wait to read it.
Oh, that'll be fabulous.
No, I've done a book in 1985.
I remember, I have the book.
Right, but now Mary and I have decided we know it. She knows me so well. She's going to help me represent my kind of real life because she knows it well, and she will help me stay on the railroad track with the facts.
That's terrific.
The whole life of fashion, and is a example to all women in our business. It's just terrific.
That's for sure. And she's always a pleasure to talk to because she's so creative.
Bettina, you and I have been friends for so many years, and we know what we talk about as in friendship and knowing each other, being supportive to each other, whether we're men or women. It doesn't get genderized. It just is in friendship and continuity and energy, people who enjoy living. And, we want to be an example for younger people to have hope and know that life is wonderful and is meant to feel good.
Well, you certainly are the epitome of that. Yes, you too.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much.
Thanks for saying hello.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
And thanks, Michael Cromer and MCM.
This is Commissioner Bratton, and Police Commissioner Bratton, and his wife, who teaches at John Jay College, and they're here at MCM enjoying the activities. And I just noticed they were on the boat checking it out. What do you think?
Quite the boat. Quite the boat.
Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful. It really is spectacular.
As beautiful as it looks on the outside, the inside is even more spectacular.
It's really lovely.
Are you?
It's worth celebrating. It is.
Are you here almost every weekend in the Hamptons?
I'm on vacation this week out here this weekend.
Yeah. Were you at Marty Rich's earlier?
No, but we just arrived a few minutes ago. The tour.
Yeah, I know. I thought we missed you because I heard you were here.
No, we came late. It's beautiful. Really lovely.
Yeah, it is lovely.
Makes you feel like you're in another world.
Yeah.
Doesn't it though, huh?
Yeah.
Stay a little longer.
Yeah.
Enjoy your evening.
Yeah, you
Good
too.
to see you.
Thank
okay.
you very much.
See you back in the city.
Right.